What's up, y'all? We're going to be talking about long-term fasting today. In the last video in this series on how to lose fat, by the way, welcome to this series on how to lose fat. A lot of you have been asking me, how do you do it? And I'm telling you here, everything that I know about it. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about long-term fasting. A little bit of housekeeping here. If you haven't already, make sure you click the playlist here to start at video 1 on this How to Lose Fat series. So you know from the beginning, all the basics, everything I've covered so far. I think this is video like 8 or 9 in the series, and there's probably going to be like 12 or so. So you want to also click the subscribe button and click that little bell notification thing to turn on notifications so you get notified when a video comes out so you don't miss it and you don't continue to be a fucking fat ass. Like, I don't want you to be a fat ass anymore. All right, so let's talk about long-term fasting. This is kind of interesting. This is a topic that is becoming more popular, and it really is, like, honestly, I talked about this in as far as weight loss, but it's really the best way to lose weight. Honestly, like to fast, to not eat food, surprisingly, it makes you lose fucking fat, okay? Why? Because you don't have any calories and you're burning calories. And a lot of people think with long-term fasting that they're just going to collapse and die and they won't have energy. It's a myth. It's bullshit. Maybe at first, like your first time doing it, you might see some energy droppage as your body's adapting and whatnot. But, you know, I'll tell you from my own experience here, I have done fasts where, and I routinely do this, where I will start fasting like Friday night. I will fast all day Saturday. I'll fast all day Sunday. I'll fast Monday until evening, until like 5 or 6 p.m. So that's basically pretty close to like a 3-day, like 72-hour fast. It's like maybe 70 hours. And during that time, I will run 10 miles on Saturday. I'll run 10 miles on Sunday. I will lift weights for 2 hours on Monday before I've eaten anything. And I'm fine. In fact, I set some PRs in the weight room sometimes when I do that. So I have plenty of energy to do that. It's a myth to think that you don't have the energy. Now, I'm not suggesting that everyone do this, and it is extreme, and it is difficult for sure to do that, but you don't have to do that in order to benefit from fasting. So a long-term fast is simply, like, there's 2 kinds of long-term fasts, okay? One of them is what's called a dry fast, and one is a water fast. So a dry fast is where you don't have any water at all. In fact, there's like a hard dry fast where you basically don't even shower or brush your teeth. Yeah, but there's some reasons for doing that. A regular dry fast is where you can like shower and you can have skin contact with the water essentially, but you don't drink any water. Okay, surprisingly, you can live for a long time doing that. And then just a regular water fast is where you drink water. You just don't eat, but you want to watch your electrolytes. You want to like make sure that you're getting enough sodium and potassium, basically. Okay, that's what's important. So you can use like salt and no salt, right? Like no salt is just potassium in order to, or you can take potassium supplement, whatever you want, if you're doing for a longer fast in order to maintain those levels in your system, okay? And when I do longer term fasts, some people don't recommend it, I will take vitamins as well, just because I want to make sure that I'm getting the right nutrients, especially if you're doing this pretty often. Now, why would you do this, okay? So the biggest reason why, as far as losing fat, is because it's the most effective way. You're going to lose the most fat when you don't eat any calories. You're basically starving, okay? And you're not going to go into starvation mode or any of that shit. Don't worry about that. I mean, look at me, okay? I'm not like going into starvation mode. I'm pretty buff. I'm 225 pounds at probably I'm at like 10% body fat right now. I'm a little bit on the fatter side of what I'm usually at, okay? But I've been doing this for like 3 years, like longer term fast, short term fast. I don't lose muscle, plus running all this, okay? It's actually muscle preserving in general, what I found in basically in contrast to doing the whole like very low calorie but multiple meals. For some reason, it seems that your body gets more anabolic, right? It might be because of the increase of HGH and testosterone that happens when you fast for longer term, and so it holds onto that muscle, which makes sense from a biological evolutionary standpoint. I mean, think about this, right? If you are basically caveman motherfucker, okay, and you're hungry and you got to go and get some food because you only eat like once every 3 days when you fucking kill something because you don't have a refrigerator, because you don't have crops to grow, then should your body shut down and shed muscle when you haven't eaten for 3 days? Or should you be super strong and super fucking vigilant and keep that muscle? Think about it, right? You got to be lean. You got to be going after and fucking killing something so you can eat it. So it makes sense from an evolutionary standpoint, okay? That's not good evidence, though. What's good evidence is you try this shit on yourself, okay? And then you see how it works. Now, I'm not a doctor. I'm not, anytime we're talking about longer term fasting, there's some risk, there's some danger. So talk to your doctor, okay? Don't just say, this fucker on YouTube told me to do it and now I'm dead. Okay, okay, just so you know. All right. So anyway, let's talk a little bit about some of the health benefits here. So the biggest thing, that, like I said, that you're going to get from the longer term fasting is that you're going to lose fat. Okay, you're going to go into ketosis essentially because you're not going to have any carbohydrates for a few days if you do like a 3 or 4 day fast. Okay, and then you're also going to basically trigger that cell death I talked about in the last video on intermittent fasting, but at a much higher rate and a much higher level, and it's going to cause that regeneration property to be much greater multiplied, right? A lot of people, there's needs to be more studies on this, but a lot of people have reported, basically curing from cancer, diabetes, a lot of ailments that are cured from this. And this isn't just woo-woo shit. It makes a lot of sense, especially the diabetes, like type 2 diabetes, because what causes type 2 diabetes, as we talked about in some of the earlier videos, is insulin resistance. And so if you are preventing yourself from having insulin spikes, you're going to increase your insulin sensitivity over time, which is going to be good, which can reverse type 2 diabetes. Okay, now, as far as the tumor or cancer fighting, a lot of cancers require glucose for fuel, and if your body's not generating glucose, you're not taking any carbohydrates or any calories, that can kind of starve the cancer cells. Again, not a blanket statement. I can't verify this 100%, but I can just tell you from what I've seen from studies and evidence that is out there, it seems like a pretty good idea. Okay, so let's talk about what other kind of benefits that you have from here. Again, like I said, the biggest thing is that this is just the most effective way, right? What I tell people about fasting is if your goal is to lose fat, why would you not do that as rapidly as possible? Right? Like, what is the there's a lot of people, it's not healthy, blah blah blah. Not really, right? There's no evidence to show that, but why would you not just lose as rapidly as possible? Why eat? Like, every time you're eating, you're sort of setting yourself back, okay? Now, it's hard, okay? It takes some discipline and some determination to do this, but once you decide and commit to it, there's plenty of people that have been able to do fast. Like I said in my previous video, actually right now, it is a Wednesday for me, and Tuesday, so the last meal that I've eaten, right, myself, was Monday evening. So Monday evening, I had actually a fairly small meal after my lifting workout. I fasted all day yesterday, went for a run yesterday. I think I did 3 miles and walked another couple miles. And then I did a very intense kickboxing class, Muay Thai. And then I haven't eaten at all today, okay? And I will eat after I do my lifting workout today about 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock this evening. So that's a pretty long fast, okay? But I'm fine, right? It takes some discipline. It's actually easier usually the second day or third day. Probably third day is probably easiest once you've done this. So that's it. That's the basics of it. Like there's just not going to be a faster way to lose fat. Now, the only reason why when I'm trying to lose fat that I don't just flat out fast completely is because I still want to maintain muscle, and so when I go to the gym and lift, I want to get some protein in after that. Now, I haven't experimented with just doing a straight fast just to see, even lifting and not eating. I feel like it will cause some loss of muscle if I just did that, but that might not be the case. If you are just fat and overweight and you don't worry about the muscle, and I wouldn't unless you seriously have spent a lot of time putting on the muscle, then just fast. If you can do it, give it a try. And even just making it 1 or 2 days or whatever, and doing it, you go maybe a 2-day fast or a 3-day fast here, and then you eat, and then you do it again. That's a really good method, I think, for losing weight. Now, it's not a sustainable lifestyle to some degree, right? I definitely do longer term fasts as a sustainable lifestyle, but just fasting period, not eating, you will eventually die. It will happen eventually. Don't do crazy shit. Don't do no water fast for 7 days. I know some people have done it. I don't recommend that. That's not a good idea. You know, if you're gonna, make sure you get your electrolytes in check. There's a guy out here on YouTube. I'll recommend him because I think he's giving some good advice and and whatnot. But I agree with a lot of what he says, and it makes a lot of sense. And he's got a lot of people that he's got fasting and losing weight, so it can give you some evidence that you can check out. So it's not just someone just making up some shit, right? And again, all the stuff that I'm telling you, and he says the same thing, I've tested on myself. So that's like, I wouldn't tell you some shit that I haven't done on myself, right? I've run a full marathon completely fasted, 26.2 miles, right? I've done all this shit, and look at me again. Like I said, I'm not the biggest guy in the world. I'm not a Jay Cutler or Ronnie Coleman, but I am a good, 225, 230 pounds of mostly muscle that is not wasting away, okay? And I do keep my body fat pretty low by doing this. So I'm all for longer term fasts, and the health benefits, if there's no other reason, the health benefits make sense. In general, my typical maintenance diet would be eating 1 meal a day, pretty much every day, except once a month doing like a weekend fast or so. Right now, I'm actually doing longer fasts. I'm experimenting with the longer fast, and I'm seeing really, really good results from that. So, all right, that's all I have for you today. And let's see, what are we going to talk about next? I think in the next video series, we're going to be talking about starting a cardio program. Okay, we already talked about that not being the best way to lose fat, but I do want to get you in shape and get you on a cardio program and talk about how to do that. So make sure you click the subscribe button, make sure you click the bell so you don't miss any of the videos that are coming up. And if you haven't watched the series from the beginning, that's in the description as well as in the cards, and you can start from the beginning. All right, I'll talk to you next time. Take care.